there's my rib out of 1/32 ply. I could cut another one and do a sandwich technique, but I'm just going to cut around it. There's not that many ribs. I might sandwich them up just to tidy them up, but that's the shape of it. So I'm quite pleased with that. As usual, I'm happy with that. Okay, a couple of little bits to nick out and we shall be there. So that's one, and 21 to go. Okay guys and gals, that's a couple of hours have passed. I've cut out 22 ribs, so I'm just going to pop a piece of 1/4 inch top and bottom and just give them a little sand to bring them all dead true. So there's a good start. I'm really enjoying this build actually. It's been a lot of fun so far. Fun. Okay. I like to put the bits down over length and cut them afterwards. One thing to note here is the servo was originally in the centre of the wing with a couple of push rods going to torque rods up to here to move the aileron. Here, this bit being the aileron. But I've got a servo to pop into each wing. And actually I need to cut a hole through these ribs for the cable before I get too carried away. No one wants to be carried away. So here it is. The lowest part of the plane is the main spar. We'll put one in there. That'll position it. And one in there, and it is thick enough to actually put a pin right down into the main spar itself, which I probably will do, but this is the first part of any build. Okay, so I need a rib. Drill down through I guess, and then just fire the hole a bit bigger. I'll go away and do that, back in a minute. So I've got all the ribs drilled out now. It's cold out there. Now what I've got is sockets for my socket set, and what I do is glue it in and just put a socket either side, maybe 2 at the back as well. Get over it, then I can make sure it's exactly over the plan. There you are. Difficult to get the glue to run down, I think. So you've tuned back in. Evidence of chocolate eating. You've tuned back in just as I'm going to add some shear webs. I thought it might be a good idea to add some shear webs while the wing is still taped to the board. For those that don't know, shear webs are just bits of 16th balsa usually, which are just glued in a vertical, the grain going vertically between the 2 main spars, and this adds a huge amount of strength, absolutely huge. Yeah. Oh, what fun fitting shear webs. Okay, that's that for the minute, guys and gals. We'll let that dry and then I can unpin it. So what I plan to do is to glue together, using epoxy, the 4 ends, and then I'm going to cut and fit the dihedral braces. So first off, let's mix up some epoxy and get the wings together. So the plans call for a really short dihedral brace. I think that's got to be at least out to these ribs. So that's what I'm going to do, and it'll help to key in the undercarriage blocks as well. Okay, so that's that drying. Cut pretty easy because it's reasonably soft balsa. Four dihedral braces. It wasn't until I cut these I realised that this bit of wood was shorter than that bit of wood. It won't matter if they're slightly short. At least I've cut the main spars out of the long one to start with, which is good. So I'm going to need quite a bit of epoxy here. This is 15-minute epoxy, so it should be, gives me plenty of time to work. Give it a little twizzle, get it in place, pop a couple of pegs on. Might have to get some different pegs here, I think. Actually, I've got some more plastic pegs, they open wider than the wooden ones. Right, let that set and we'll come back to it and see what we got. Let that dry and we got some semblance of a strong wing. Super. Oh dear, what can you say about that then? Which way do I turn? That way. What are the odds of that? Okay, so that's the 3 ribs in, and I'm just going to run a little bit of aliphatic in, and the big one especially. Right, I'm just removing the balsa between the. Oh, it shouldn't be that hard. Picked up a rib. Going in there nicely. Right, so I've just glued in the undercarriage blocks, and it feels very tight and very capable of taking an undercarriage load. Quite pleased with them really. So we'll let those set. I'll drill the holes to take the returns of the undercarriage legs later on, and the next job is going to be sheeting the leading edge and centre section. Brilliant. Okay, stand up for this, I think. Pins ready. Right, so we're going to put the first piece in there, just like that. If you do have a bruise in your balsa wood, by the way, you can take it out just by damping the wood, and it brings it out quite well. That will sit on there then. Put that equally both sides, about there. Okay. About there. Good. Put the first pin, I think, back here. That bit goes in there. Just eases into there. And I noticed when Jerry was fitting his cap strips, he didn't need to pin them in place, which suggests to me he was cutting them rather accurately. So let's see if I can do the same. Oh yes, thanks Jerry, nothing like a challenge. So I've got to fit those on all the ribs all the way up. Okay, so that completes the cap strips for the top part of the starboard wing. I'll do the other side, then by the time I've done that I should be able to turn the wing over and sheet the underneath. Okay, so wingtips are on, cap strips are on, leading edge sheeting is on, underneath sheeting is on, trailing edge blocks are on. I've spent an hour or two sanding the wing, and I thought I'd just do a quick mock-up for you all. I'm quite pleased with the way she's looking. Got to make a plug for the cockpit. The jury's still out as to whether I should put on if I put on a open cockpit, which I've seen a picture of and looks quite smart, and then I've got a nice big cutout in the cockpit floor to let any hot air out. Okie dokie, I've just fitted up a very simple. I've utilised these plastic servo mounts. I'll show you the other side in a minute, but I've just put a couple of bits of hardwood across the bay and then cut a piece of balsa to fit in there. So if I turn it over, it's not screwed in yet. I like that. I like them plastic things. Not used one before, but I just thought they were covers. I didn't realise they actually held the servo in place. Yep. So that's pretty cool and pretty easy to fix up. There's one. Pretty easy. If you've got some value from this video, hit the old like button and leave us a comment. So I've just got this little idea off of Mark Robinson's video. Mark Robinson has got a YouTube channel. He's currently building the Avanti's pattern plane, and he's got this rather nice little scalloped rear to the cockpit, and I quite like that, and it leads in nicely into the stringers. So I've emulated that. So thanks Mark for that idea. This completes part 3, the wing build. The ailerons are now sanded, just tack glued in place for the minute, and I've sanded the tailplane, leading edge, the fin,